Welcome to Pack Talk Podcast, episode 99. I have my good friend with me, Antonio, and he runs the Velasquez Company, which is primarily painting.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he's all over the South Carolina low country. But Antonio has a very powerful story. He also has changed a lot about the things that he's doing to get to a very high level of operation, which I think that story is going to benefit a lot of you out there, especially you running a business or starting a business or trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
But a couple stories real quick about Antonio. The first time I met Antonio was at a local gym in Summerville, South Carolina, just in the mornings, meeting him there. Yeah. And, we just happened to be there at the same time. And Antonio since then has moved on to a different gym. But that's how I first got introduced to Antonio. And one thing I always thought of is, people that go to the gym, especially in the morning consistently, tend to be high performers. That's just my thought process on that,
Right, yeah.
I don't know if you remember those days.
I do.
Initially,
yeah.
And back then I was working out with another guy, so we'd always give each other a hard time,
It was a good time for sure.
But then I remember in our conversations at the gym, you were working at some local painting company, I believe, and you weren't getting to where you wanted to go with them, so you decided, I'm going to start my own painting company. Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, I was actually working for a construction supply store.
Construction supply, yeah.
And I wanted to become a sales rep with them.
That's right.
And they kept telling me that they were going to give me that position, just hold off. And about 6 months passed by, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So then that's when I made, a lot of happen, and then that's when I decided to go on my own.
So you didn't let anything hold you back. You weren't going to let them hold you back. They were like, hey, this is going to happen for you at some point.
Yeah.
But it never did. And you're like, well, I'm just getting after it.
Yeah. I was at a point where I needed to make a change, or else, I was going to turn around and be in the same spot.
Yeah. I think that's super powerful, which we'll get into your details here shortly. But one other little story is Antonio has done a bunch of projects out here for us at Canine Revolution Dog Training, one of them being our fence. We have a huge fencing project that we did. Antonio was out here doing that, and his team was doing that. But there was one day we were doing our dog trainer workouts. I don't know if you remember this, but we were doing dog trainer workouts, which we do frequently to keep our trainers in top physical condition. And we were like, hey, we're about to do this workout. You want to jump in with us? And you're like, sure. And so we're out on a hiking trail carrying bags of dog food, just Zerker carrying them for a couple miles. And I don't remember what else we did, but you were like, I didn't think on a Friday I'd be out here carrying dog food with you guys,
Yeah.
So.
And it was before I was kind of like in and out of the gym. So
you weren't 100% serious.
No, it was a struggle for sure.
But still a good time,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was good. But, I would like to do it, when I don't know how often y'all do it. But.
Well, we've kind of changed up just from scheduling. We used to do it once a week, which is back then. But now we just do it every couple months. We have like a standard we all just train to, and then every couple months we meet up, we train, make sure we're all in accordance with the standard, So
Well,
but definitely a good time.
I would love to be there.
Those team workouts are fun.
Yeah, it is.
Because you can give each other a hard time, push each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
for sure.
Stuff you're used to, But anyway, we're going to get into Antonio's story and what he does. But before we get into that, can you tell us, I know you're residential and commercial painting. That's your primary thing, right? Residential and commercial?
Yeah. So we specialize in residential and commercial projects. Homes, businesses, and we do interior and exterior painting.
Okay.
And we service the whole low country area, so Berkeley County, Charleston County, Dorchester County.
Sounds good. Now, why is it important for someone, like, let's say I have a house and my paint has deteriorated? Why is it important for me to repaint my house? What benefit does that do for me as a homeowner?
Yeah, so it protects your, I like to call it substrate, which is just the fancy name for material. So if there's peeling paint, especially if you have wood, if there's peeling paint, that could eventually lead to wood rot, and you have to replace it. So definitely you want to keep up with the paint job. Typically, depending on the paint quality that you use, but you're looking to paint a house anywhere from every 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
Depending on the paint quality.
Depending on the paint quality, depending on the paint prep, of course. And then But yeah, it's super important to keep up with that. Sometimes the main focus is just color and whether it's been faded or not. And although that's important for aesthetics, it's even more important to do it because you have to protect the materials that are on your home.
Because you might get like a painting quote. I'm assuming you guys do quotes, or if you're getting paint, you get a quote. And let's say that quote comes back and it surprises you. Maybe it's, if I'm the homeowner, I get a quote. Maybe it's more than I thought that I should be paying for paint. Well, if you don't get the paint, now you got the wood damage. Now you're paying for wood damage.
Oh, yeah.
Replacing that, which is going to be way more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Than just, maintaining your paint, right?
Yeah. It's just one of those things not a lot of people think about doing it, like getting it on I wouldn't call it a maintenance program because we don't offer that, but just having on your own timeline as far as every 5 years, every 10 years.
Yeah.
Even if it looks like it may or may not needed, it's just super important to do it so that way you're not other problems are coming along.
What about interior? You got your drywall. Is the paint protecting that as well if you're getting interior paint?
So interior is a little different, I would say, unless you have like a leak. Interior, you could probably hold off a little longer. The main reason we see interior projects getting done is because they don't like the color. So but if you have a bunch of scuff marks, a bunch of dings and whatnot, then it's probably a good idea to start refreshing it. But as far as drywall, like it's not gonna structurally, it's not gonna do.
Right. It's not the same as the wood on the outside,
Correct.
for example.
Yeah. Right. I would say exterior painting is more of a necessity, and interior painting can be more of a commodity.
I got you.
I guess would that be the phrase?
And exterior could also be like your porch, right? Your wood porch, your fence. If you have a wooden fence, you'd want to get that painted and keep it. If you want to preserve the longevity of that fence line.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Yes, sir.
So sounds good. I mean, a lot of things people don't think about is that the paint's not just about the color, but it's about the protective aspects that it provides you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's super important. I would say it's more important than the aesthetics.
Yeah.
For sure.
You guys paint metal roofs? Is that a thing? Like if you have like a metal structure or something?
Yeah. No, not roofs. Anything with roof, it's a different.
It's a different
specialty,
type of a specialty. Okay.
So, I would lean more towards your roofing companies.
Yeah.
Not all roofing companies offer it, but a good amount do.
What about like if I have an exterior to my house that needs paint? Maybe I don't know. I call you. Do you come out and just inspect it and say, hey, you got about 2 years left, or you got 3 years left, or you probably need to get it done within 6 months? Do you give them that?
Yeah. So if somebody calls me and they have an estimate, and most of the time when people call me, it's because they actually need something, or they notice one of the more obvious things like peeling paint, cracking, blistering, fading. But if I go out there, there's been several estimates where I went out there and it really just needed a touch up, and they could have easily waited another 2 years. So I'm okay with telling them, hey, you probably got another 2 years left. We can take care of that if you'd like. But or if you really wanted to and just get out of the way, get it painted now. Just but I'd rather tell people, hey, you got more time. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to do it than to just get another project on the books.
Which I think speaks to the way you run your business, because there's probably a lot of businesses out there where if they call you, they're like, hey, can you come inspect my paint because you're a painting expert? The other business might come and be like, well, you got to do this now, even if they don't have to, trying to take advantage of people.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you go in, you're like, hey, honestly, you got 2 years left. We can do it now, obviously, if you want, or these touch-up things. I think that speaks to the way you run your business and the way you operate.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is actually just taking care of people versus taking advantage of them.
Yeah. And that's been my approach. And as of right now, I hadn't written a mission statement or core values, but I'm working on that now. just based on the person that I am, I've kind of had it in the back of my head, but there's nothing like writing it down and like making it a thing, you know, to start creating that culture.
Definitely.
But it's always just trying to take care of people at the end of the day. That's been my main goal, is making sure that they get what they need. They, you know, we're providing the materials that, or we recommend the materials that they need. At the end of the day, we let them decide, and you know, that's just how I've decided to operate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, can you give us a quick recap on your journey to how you actually started your business? You know, I know that we touched briefly on you were working somewhere else. They told you, hey, we're going to have this position for you. We're going to have this position for you at some point in the future. They kept delaying that, and you took action, you know. But what kind of led up to that? You know, is there anything that happened during your childhood to make you lean towards entrepreneurship at all? Was it ever on your radar?
Yeah, it definitely, in hindsight, definitely was on the radar as a little kid, just because my mom, they came from Guatemala and started picking tomatoes and vegetables in John's Island.
Okay. That's where they came. As soon as they came from Guatemala.
Yeah, well, they came from Guatemala. They went to Florida, I think, to pick oranges.
Okay.
And then the season was over. They were only there for a few months. Then they came to John's Island.
Okay.
And started doing that. And it was, the season had ended. And at that time, they needed to go to a different spot because they were traveling. But my mom was pregnant. So the people told my dad, like, we can't take your wife because she's pregnant. So I'm sorry, you know. And so my dad had to make a decision at that point. You know, what do we do? And it just so happened that somebody, a friend of his or acquaintance of his, told him, hey, there's this Chinese restaurant is hiring from 9 to 11 at night, from 9 a.m. to 11 at night.
Holy cow.
But they're going to provide an apartment.
Oh, really?
And so that was like my dad's, you know, I guess way out to stay here.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about, you know, having a place to stay. They didn't know English. So it was super hard to like even try to make connections. And figure, you know, like you would think like, oh, I'll just go and to a place and you know, get a job and do an interview. But even something simple as that,
that's a challenge.
It was a challenge.
You got the language barrier.
Yeah.
You know what year that was when that was going on?
That was 1990.
1990?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. So he started working at the Chinese place?
Yeah, and I was born shortly after that.
How long was he there for at the Chinese?
Oof. And I could be misquoting, but I would say maybe 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah, working
9 to 11 every day?
9 to 11 every day. 7 days a week. Yeah.
That's hard work right there.
Yeah, and my mom being at home with me, like, just, once again, she would, like, take little walks around the neighborhood, but that's it. You know, that was her life.
Well, she had to keep you under control.
Yeah.
You know, you were causing trouble.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks. So what'd your dad do after the Chinese?
After that, he started, he became a subcontractor for flooring.
Flooring, okay.
Yeah, refurnishing or refinishing flooring. So any tile floor that needed stripping and waxing. It's not as popular now, but the big accounts that he got was through Walmart. Okay. So he did.
So he'd go to like Walmart stores and
Walmart.
Replace their floors.
So first he did it. Maintain them.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Remove the wax. And then put fresh wax on it.
I see what you're saying.
So he did that for a good while.
Seems like you would mainly do that at nighttime.
Yeah, it was nighttime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So during the day he was kind of off.
Yeah.
Nighttime he'd go to work.
Yeah, for sure. So then he had my dad on that side, and then my mom started cleaning for somebody, and I believe they decided to close shop, and she was out of a job, and they said, hey, some of the clients from before said, hey, do you want to clean my house? Yeah. And so my mom decided, like, all right, well, this is where we're at. Okay. So she started cleaning a house on her own.
So she was kind of entrepreneuring at that time.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, and she's, to this day, she still cleans.
Oh, really?
Cleans houses. Yeah. Okay. So, but she's been able to to make decent money and
I mean, that's a big thing these days.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was in the 90s or early 2000s. It seems like it wasn't as prevalent then, but these days it seems like most people, are having someone come in and clean their house because they're busy. You got the man of the house working, the lady of the house working. Most people have their own careers. They have kids. They have pets, so they get super busy.
Yeah.
So they have a cleaner come in. They have all these services come in and basically do their maintenance for them.
Right.
Yeah. So she must be pretty busy if she's doing that
this
day,
Yeah. So she still does a lot of the cleaning herself.
Yeah.
I think eventually, I don't know, but eventually she may want to grow it. I know one of my goals is to basically retire her. So that way, provide her like a decent salary or something.
Yeah.
So that's one of my.
So you absorb her business into the Velasquez Company.
I guess I guess I could do that too,
and then you got some cash flow going there from both sides of the house. Then you pay her salary, then she can retire.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Sense. I never thought of that. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
What about your dad? Is he still around? Is he?
So since then, he got out of the floor business and he started scrapping metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a big market these days, right?
It is.
Is he still doing that now?
He's still doing it.
Really?
Yeah. Now he has probably 3 or 4 trucks.
Okay.
And 3 or 4 employees that are doing it. He mentioned to me a few months back that he has a scrap yard, small scrap yard in Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
And he's wanting to start one in North Charleston.
Oh, nice.
So
how does that work? People call them, they have scrap?
At this point, yeah. But when he first started, he would just
drive around
with a small
people.
pickup, or during trash pickup day, or bulk pickup, go around picking up people's old washers, dryers, all kinds of metal. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
He actually sent me when I don't remember if it's a summer after I came back from school or before summer during high school. But he bought another small truck, and he's like, "Hey son, go and scrap some metal."
You're working.
And I was just like, "Oh man!" At the time, I was like, "Man, this is not." Being that I'm over here picking people's trash. It's not. At the time, I was like, "This looks bad. This is a bad image." But but my dad's been able to make a good living. Just off of.
There's a lot of money in scrap metal.
There is.
Does he ship it somewhere? Do people? Because I've heard that's something they do too.
No, I don't. No, he doesn't. I know he. In the early days, he would have to go to the scrap yards and sell it. Now, I think he made some kind of deal with one of the scrap yards. They deliver a container.
He fills it up.
And he just fills it up, and they come pick it up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So what year was that? Obviously, you were driving when he gave you that truck and said, "Hey, go get some scrap metal."
Maybe 2009, 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like your whole life you've kind of got that entrepreneur foundation being set by your parents because they're getting after it, doing different things. Then your dad has the scrap metal business. Your mom has the cleaning business, and now you have your own business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you decided to make that jump into business, were you reflecting on everything they did and some of the lessons you learned from them, I'm assuming, just by paying attention to them, or?
Not really, if I'm being honest. I didn't really, at the time when I first was starting my business, I didn't really think, or even before, I didn't really think that they were entrepreneurs.
Oh, really?
But in hindsight, you definitely, it takes a different level of courage and, discipline, and just to go out there and start something on your own.
Right.
So I've reflected in the last 2 years about the guts that it's taken for them to do that. But at the beginning, I wouldn't say it kind of shaped
Yeah.
I think what really made it for me was even before I started the business, I'd always had like 2 or 3 jobs at times. So I always had the mentality that, hey, I have to,
Yeah.
I have to figure something out. Like I can't just sit around and wait for to win the lottery or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta figure. And so and then the last so I was working full time at that construction supply store, and then I had helped my stepdad with the landscape company that he had started. Just getting insurance and whatnot, invoicing, and so that kind of even opened it up.
Okay.
Even the possibility to kind of go on my own.
Yeah.
Just because I was learning.
Yeah, I mean, if you're invoicing and you're doing the insurance stuff, you're already learning some business operations.
Yeah.
So when you made that jump, when you made the decision to, okay, I'm going head first into starting a business, kind of what was your game plan at that time? What were your thoughts? What was happening?
Yeah, so I was frustrated because like I really wanted to become a sales rep for this for this company, and it just wasn't happening. So once again I had to figure something else out. And so at the time my daughter was about to be born, my first daughter. And so that was weighing on me, to try to, should I do this, should I not? It's
a risk, obviously.
The uncertainty of not having a stable or steady income was also weighing on me. So there was a lot of factors. I think just normal things that everyday people that are wanting to start a business, like all those thoughts come to your mind. Like, would I, or like you have to think about, and consider all this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so I was just, once again, I would say 1 out of frustration, and then 2 out of, just wanting to provide my own opportunity, because I was done waiting for somebody else to kind of give me the opportunity. And then also a lot of the things that led up to that point was like I went to a Bible college, wasn't accredited, so most of my friends that graduated, would either go work at a small church, but still had to like get other jobs.
Get a different job
just to even make
provide.
ends meet.
Right.
So I knew, I was like, maybe that's not, nothing wrong with it, but I just wasn't, this is what I wanted to do. So I even tried going to school online. It just wasn't working out. So for a while, before I started my business, I always thought like, man, I got to go get a degree. I have to like work for a business for 10 years or something before I even consider something like that. So I was just getting all these roadblocks, and I guess now excuses, but
perceived roadblocks.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was in high school, probably you too, it was like people are telling you have to get a degree. You have to get a degree to have a career.
Right.
I know Ben was told the same thing. So like our generation, that's what we were told. And nowadays, I think that's changing a little bit. But the thing that sucks about doing that is you go head first into a bunch of debt, and then you start your career with a bunch of debt. Now you're kind of working backwards.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So
yeah,
very one thing that I'll talk to random people, I'm sure you do too, and they're like, oh, I want to start a business, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, you just got to do it. Then they never do it. And then, 2 years later, they tell me, I still want to start a business. And I'm like, you're the only one that can get yourself to do it. And that's a thing that holds a lot of people back. And it's probably the kind of the fear factor of, hey, I'm not going to have any income, or I'm going to lose income. There's a potential for me not to have any business. And it's like, you're going to make your path. It's not going to just be handed to you. If you start a business, you have to literally get after it to get up and going and develop the business and keep providing for yourself and others, especially if you have employees like you do. You know?
Yeah.
So obviously those are the thoughts you're talking about when you're thinking about starting your own business and all that. So you take the leap. You're like, hey, we're doing this. What was your wife thinking at the time? Was she kind of hesitant, or was she like, you need to do this?
No. She was supportive, for sure, but she didn't was like, hey, this is what you need to do, or like pushed me to do it. She just say, hey, whatever you decide, or I'm gonna back you up.
Yeah.
So that that helps.
That's good
a lot.
too.
I think it's super important to have your your spouse back you up, because there can be situations where and there could be other situations where the spouse maybe not be as ecstatic about it,
Right.
but I think if you see something in them that says they can do it, then by all means encourage them.
Yeah.
Even if even just by saying, hey, I support you. You don't necessarily have to be hey, you do this and that,
right.
blah, blah, blah. If you have those abilities, great, but
right.
just I think simply just saying, hey, I believe in you, I support you, definitely at least in my case it helped a lot.
Definitely helps.
Yeah.
Especially versus someone that's like, hey, how do you know this is going to work? This might fail. Our family's going to be, in trouble.
Right.
Those kind of things.
Right.
So.
Which are valid points.
Right.
And I think, sometimes your spouse can be the one to like bring you
to reality.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're living up here in the dreams.
Yeah.
They bring you down to reality. It's a balance,
Yeah, definitely a balance. But yeah, but yeah, if it's mainly negative, then yeah, it can be a challenge.
Right.
If there's like basically those phrases that you just said, like, yeah, what about this? What about and I guess tone has a lot to do with it too.
Oh, yeah.
Because if your spouse is not, supporting you, that can be another roadblock,
right? Right.
Out of all the other roadblocks that face you when you're wanting to start
definitely not going to help you.
No.
Have that positive thinking. I know the positive thinking thing about always putting yourself in the right mindset versus allowing you to go into a bad mindset.
Right.
So like what is influencing you from your family, your spouse, your significant other. All that plays a role, But when you started your business, what were some of your initial challenges, if you remember them? Some of the initial things that you were struggling to work through?
Yeah. So one story that comes to mind was, I would say marketing, for sure. I remember paying to create a website. It was, at the time, it was like $60 a month. So, in my head, for whatever reason, and it's just my lack of business, right?
Right.
Because that's another thing. Like, I jumped in this not really knowing much about business, which
most of us do.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. So, like, if that's the excuse that you're having, then
right.
I would say, don't, because a lot of us don't have that.
Right.
That skill just yet, and it's ever developing.
Right.
But yeah, once, like I said, the story that comes to mind is once I created my website, or somebody else created my website, I paid them to do it. I thought like people are just gonna start calling me, left and right, and I'm gonna get all these leads coming in just because I have a nice website.
Yeah.
And like a month, after, I'm like, nobody's calling me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work that
way.
Right.
Yeah. I think everyone thinks that. I definitely thought that. Then you figure out real quick, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. For
so
sure.
What'd you do when you realized that?
Well, I started looking at other avenues like networking, and there are pay-per-lead services that I started with.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped. Those are still challenging, but that kind of helped start bringing in, some calls and leads for me. And so I would say that's definitely was a challenge. Another challenge was maybe we'll lead into this later, but is becoming that person that you need to be to start building a business,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
who is that person? What is that?
That I would say, for in my case, and I want to be transparent because maybe I can look back at this or even help somebody else. Is you come from if I came from like just working my job, you know, and not really, you know, going to the gym every once in a while, you know. So I would say the cycle of a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And so I jumped into this, and then I started seeing a little bit of money come in. And I would say a lot of my focus was on like, all right, so now I have some money coming in. And this is a few months after.
Yeah.
But, you know, now I want to do, it was more money than I was used to. You know, at the time I was making maybe 40 grand a year.
Yeah.
You know, and I started seeing some money, and I don't know, I just wanted to like start getting this and that and really wanting, maybe trying to impress people.
Yeah.
And after a while I learned like that stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that's one part, or like becoming that person to where I'm like currently at now, to where I'm really focused on really growing this business. But I would just say, like, you know, starting off, try to like really become that person, and it takes time.
Yeah.
But really try to become that person that, even if you're starting at zero, try to become that person that can run a, you know, several $100,000 business, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, whatever your goal is. You know.
So you're talking about, you know, like habits, building habits.
Yeah, building habits. Start becoming and thinking, and even though you're not there just yet, but start becoming that person.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I struggled with at the beginning, was just I thought I could just kind of just wing it. You know, and I did have some success, you know, with it, but eventually I had to come to a stop and say, if I'm really serious about this, then, you know, I really had to start becoming a different person.
What are some things you implemented when you figured that out?
So one big thing was really focusing on my health. I didn't, for the last, you know, at the beginning of my business, I really didn't make that an importance, because I think there's this trap that that business owners or entrepreneurs have, is that if, you know, you have to work nonstop and then figure things to cope with that, you know. And for me, it was, you know, hanging out, maybe drinking more than I should, eating like crap,
fast
just
food
not
and
your
stuff
fast,
when you're on the road.
And just thinking that I had it, like I didn't have time to meal prep, I didn't have time to eat right, or you know, I had to always be on the go, and so you know, it really took a toll on me, to the point where I woke up one morning and my eyelid was like starting to shut. And I'm just like, what in the world's going on here, you know? At that time, I was almost 200 pounds.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you woke up, your eyelid was shut.
It was almost,
open
yeah. I actually went to go do a video for my social media, you know, and I look at the camera, and I'm like, what's wrong with my eye? You know? And it wasn't all the way shut, but it was starting to, and then over a week and a half time, like eventually shut. So I went to them. Before that, I was starting to feel like little pressure in my chest, and I'm just like, this is not cool. I'm almost, you know, early 30s. Like I shouldn't be going through any of this right now, you know? But it was mainly because I wasn't prioritizing my health. You know, I wasn't having now things that I've implemented in the last years. You know, having, you know, an out healthy out.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And but yeah. Those are.
What was the issue with your eye and your chest? Did the
Yeah.
doctor
So
say?
eventually, I went to the to a local clinic, and there's like, we can't help you because anything that has to do with the chest,
Cardiology type thing.
You're gonna have to go to the ER. So I went to the ER. They did some tests, and they're like, it seems like your blood pressure is high, but everything else seems normal. Like there's no like signs of
really
like any cardiovascular issues.
Right.
And I don't know if it was, I wouldn't say I had a panic attack. I was just in a constant state of like
stress type
stress.
State?
Yeah. And so, mainly because I just didn't know how to deal with it, or I was dealing with it in the wrong way.
Right.
And the eye thing, they at the ER just told me it may be a sty. So but I knew it was like, they told me to put a wet or a warm compress on it. Yeah, and it just wouldn't go away. So then I scheduled an appointment with an eye doctor, and they're like, oh, you may have maybe mispronouncing, but it's myasthenia gravis, like on autoimmune disease.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what and so they wanted to put me on medication.
Really?
And I was like, I'm not getting on medication.
Yeah.
I'd rather change my eating habits, really start focusing on working out, and then figure out, other changes that I can do to fix this. So then I bought a detox kit at a local chiropractor office. Did that for 10 days. It basically kind of cleans out your system, and it also has some dietary things that you got to follow, which leads into, it's like 10 days, your 5th day you're doing a fast.
Okay.
And then it like increases your food intake.
Restarts you. Yeah.
And so that, once I did that, my eyelids started like,
really?
Going back.
That's crazy. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started working out and being consistent with it.
That's when you got serious at that point.
At that point I was like, I had to make those changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your like your eating now? What are you doing?
So right now I definitely wish I would be a little bit more how do you say, not consistent, because I'm consistent, but more
well, you got like
80%,
or you got more, you're like detailed, or you want to be more detailed?
I want to be more detailed, but right at the beginning it was, I just stopped drinking as much.
Okay.
Yeah. I stopped
that by
eating.
itself will make a big change.
Yeah.
Alcohol is basically poisoning you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely. Stop eating processed foods, fried foods. I used to love going out to eat.
Oh yeah.
Which I still do.
Yeah.
But not as much.
Well, I mean, you're a contractor, like a painting service, and so you're driving around all the time, and it's just convenient for you to stop at Arby's.
Yeah.
Get some mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Get the chicken fingers and keep going, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That's what a lot of service people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's easy.
Right.
It's easy to do.
Right.
And I would even say we just don't know better.
Right.
Right. We've just been doing that for a while, and I guess when you're young you can kind of keep up with it, but as your body ages, you start seeing even like, it
definitely will hit you.
Right.
You won't be at optimal performance.
Right.
You won't have mental clarity either.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, like you get put in a lot more stressful situations than you do. So maybe let's just say you're working a 9 to 5 now, and you're eating like that, and you're not really seeing all those symptoms just yet. But you put that same person into like very stressful situations when it comes to business, because it's up and down.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Then like I've heard just within my circle, 3 or 4 people having panic attacks.
Oh yeah.
But one thing I see is that they're not really prioritizing their health, and that's basically what I wasn't doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think if people, when I've talked to many business owners too, they've made changes like what you're talking about, where they were, this one guy in particular was overweight, couldn't really work, decided to make a change, lost all this weight. Now he's at peak performance.
Yeah.
5 years later, he's older, but he's operating better than he was when he was younger.
Yeah.
But like having the good food that you're providing your body with gives you the energy, gives your body the nutrients it needs, gives you the mental clarity.
Oh yeah.
But the panic attacks too, you got to understand how to handle stress, how to deal with stress.
Yeah.
Because as a business owner, or even like a general manager, or like a high level manager at a different business, even if you're not the owner, you're going to have the stress of the employees that are working for you. They're going to bring problems to you. They're going to have problems. You're going to have to handle those. You got to manage the operations. So how do you handle that stress? And one way that at least that works for me is making sure that I'm consistent with my workouts. You know what I'm saying? Because that puts my body, my mentality at that optimal performance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It gives me that healthy outlet, but also just for me over time, learning how to handle people,
Right.
And also if someone's bringing something to my attention, or if somebody's doing something that's not right, should you be yelling at them? No. I used to do that, unfortunately. I used to be that guy that yell at people, but now it's like, take everything into account. You don't have to handle that situation right then and there unless it's a safety problem.
Right.
But step away from that situation, get some mental clarity on it, then readdress it later.
Yeah.
But just understanding how to deal with stress, is a big part for any person that's a high level manager, a business owner, a supervisor.
Yeah.
Those types of positions.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So you changed the fast food. What'd you kind of go to for your diet?
So just started another big thing that I was eating was just a lot of sweets, pastries, not so much candy.
Oatmeal cream pies?
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah. I mean, I had a few, but my like ice cream, cakes,
that was your go-to.
Pies, cookies. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
was your go-to.
Yeah, dude. I would and I'd still smash.
Oh yeah.
Smash some, but just now it's in moderation. It's every once in a while.
Right.
It's not. Right. It's not like after I eat, now I need dessert. You know what I mean? It's just like it was before.
Dude, I was in the same boat. I used to literally, back in the early days of having business, Ben probably knows this, I used to literally crush a whole row of double stuffed Oreos every night. Me and the wife would put the kids to bed. I'd grab my big carton of Oreos and my glass of milk.
Yeah.
We'd sit down. I'd crush a whole row, at least a row, dude. That was crazy. I haven't touched an Oreo in forever, but that was my go-to.
Yeah. It was, for me, it was pastries, man. Pastries and fried food.
Was your
especially
go-to.
Living here in this area, man. Fried food is big.
It's everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's good too.
Oh yeah.
But you gotta reel it in. You gotta have it in moderation.
Yeah.
Not every meal.
Yeah. You can't have fried chicken every day. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'll just destroy you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you made that change. You kind of got cleaner eating. You noticed changes in your performance.
Oh yeah.
As you got cleaner.
Oh yeah, for sure. Started. I know it's you hear it all the time, but started getting more energy. That chest pressure went away. Just I started losing weight. So just you hear the term "look good, feel good."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So started gaining more confidence.
Yeah.
So it definitely helped out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, had I not had that, incident.
You might not have made a change.
I made, and that's, so I'm not saying like, or maybe I am thankful that's something, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, to anybody listening, like I would just encourage them not to wait to have something happen like that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
to start making the changes now, because like if you want to be at an optimal level and perform at peak, then you have to start focus on your health, because you only get one body, right? So
I mean, that's a really good point. Like you got one body, one meat vessel to carry you through your whole life. It's not like a car that you can replace. And a lot of people just don't take their health seriously.
Yeah.
You know, they don't take their hormones seriously, their health seriously. They're suffering from a bunch of you know, health issues, and they get medication for it from the doctor. They don't change their overall habits like what you're talking about.
Right.
And some people, it does take a situation like you had
yeah.
to make that change, but some other people can make the change on their own before that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's super important, obviously.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
You were changing your workouts at that time too, or that came a little bit later?
So I what I did, well, I hadn't been in the gym. I was like playing around with it once every.
You're kind of in and out, not serious.
Yeah. And then the beginning of last year, I was like, okay, I need to do. It was actually, I started going back before my eyelids started closing.
Okay. Yeah.
But then once that happened, I was like, okay, let's start going more consistent. So I would, and I'd been like, when I saw you, when I met you, like I kind of knew a little bit about some working out, but it was still kind of foreign to me.
Right.
I would just do whatever.
Yeah.
I would just
Get
whatever I knew
move.
people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People would do, but at that time, so well, then when I started going back, I just downloaded Gymshark.
Yeah.
And I like the way they have all their videos lined up, and then the
program itself.
Yeah.
So they show you what to do. They tell you what to do, basically.
Exactly. So I chose one of those, and I chose a 5-day program, and I just went every day, Monday through Friday. At the beginning, I would just put my headphones, listen to a bunch of motivational videos.
Yeah.
You know, as corny as that sounds, but
hey.
to me, it helped. It worked.
Right.
You know. Like people, on those motivation videos, like they don't believe in you, they all hate you, you know.
Right. You got to get your mind in the zone.
Yeah. So I would, even now, every now and then, I'll put one on.
Yeah.
You know, but I went to work, man, because I had to change, and the hardest part is like not seeing any results for the first
because it takes
month
time.
or two, you know.
Yeah.
Because it takes consistent,
Yeah.
consistency to go in there and be okay with not seeing results.
That's the problem with today's world, you know. People want things now.
Yeah.
They start the 5-day-a-week program, and within a week they're like, I'm not seeing any changes. I guess this isn't working.
Yeah.
Let me go to the other thing.
Yeah.
Or let me just stop.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you go downhill.
Yeah, for sure.
Consistency, stick with it, you know.
Yeah. So then I went about maybe a month and a half. And then I started picking up running, and I remember the first time I ran, it was a struggle. I think I did a mile in like 18 minutes.
Oh, really?
Basically walking. It was rough.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And then and then a friend sent me a clip from Bedros Keuilian, and we shared some stories about that, but. And I really started like paying attention to that, and one of the challenges that he has is like do a marathon. So I did give myself an easy way out. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a half marathon, but I'm gonna sign for it now.
Right.
And at the time, that was like maybe 3 or 4 times after I started running. And so I signed up for a half marathon in October of last year, and it was April. I'm like, okay,
you got time.
I got time to train.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I started running.
Yeah.
I downloaded the Nike app, and for some reason, basically 2 or 3 weeks up into the race,
Mm-hmm.
I had ran 10 miles, at least according to the Nike app. I was like, well, if I can do 10 miles, I'll be able to do 13.
Right.
13.1.
Yeah.
And then I go to the race, and the app says you've completed 13 miles, but I still had like 3 more miles or 2.5 miles left on the race.
Oh, so it was way off.
It was way off. So this whole time I thought I'm training, The last time that I thought I was doing, that I did 10 miles.
You're doing like 8,
I was doing 8, maybe, yeah. I mean, I finished it.
Yeah,
but
you got it done.
It was rough.
Yeah. Did you sign up for another marathon or anything?
I haven't, but it's definitely one something I want to do. I want to do.
You know what you need to do with
marathon.
me this year? The Walk for the Fallen. Have you heard of that?
No.
Ben did it with me last year. It's basically a marathon, but you're walking it.
Okay.
It's with my MMA gym, Black Force MMA.
Okay.
The owner of that gym also runs a nonprofit for veterans.
Okay.
Called Grappling PTSD. But basically, once a year, he does a Walk for the Fallen. That's to raise money for the nonprofit to support veterans, but also to remember the fallen by suffering.
Yeah.
And so you start at 2 a.m. in Somerville, and you walk at like a high speed because he's leading the whole thing. But you walk at a high speed from Somerville to Mount Pleasant at the waterfront park where they have that memorial. You know what I'm talking about? So you walk. It takes you from like 2 a.m. until like 12 or 12:30 p.m. to get there. There's a couple checkpoints along the way. What? Was it 2 p.m.? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was like after 12. Sometime between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Sometime that's where you arrive there. But there's checkpoints along the way where you take a quick break, you refuel, you keep going.
Yeah.
But you should definitely do that this year if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't have to run it. You're just walking it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
one thing I also learned last year is like being able to consistently challenge yourself. And not just kind of in all areas, physically, spiritually, mentally. And so I'm definitely interested in doing.
So what are
like
some
that.
things you found to challenge yourself? What are some things you routinely do to like push yourself?
Yeah, so I well, that half marathon was definitely a challenge because I always told myself I hate running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was one challenge. The other challenge was started to pick up striking. I don't even know what it's called right now, but kickboxing. I started that May of last year, and I was intimidated because I'd never done anything like that. And before, like, somebody came at me, I don't know what of.
Yeah.
I thought maybe going to the gym was gonna help me with that, and I realized there's
Definitely
a lot.
not.
It's not.
Lifting weights is one thing. Striking is something different.
Yeah. So that first class was super intimidating, but once again, in the name of challenging myself, I was like, okay, let's. And plus, I wanted to do. I was genuinely interested in doing it. So. Did
you have a friend that invited you to that, or you just picked out a gym to go
So
to?
I was gonna do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Somerville. And then my daughter goes to Charleston Bilingual Academy.
Okay.
In Park Circle, and the guy that owns Cool Hands MMA, he has a son that goes there, and he just posted on Facebook around that time saying, "Hey, I'm opening up a new gym."
Oh, okay.
And if anybody's interested, my wife told me because I was at the point of signing up at the doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and so I was like, well, let me check it out. I kind of want to support people that are in my community.
Right.
So I went the first time, and it was hard.
Yeah. You're breathing hard.
Yeah. It was hard. I still have. My wife sent me a picture not too long ago, and I was even at that point, from February of last year to May of last year, I had lost some weight.
Yeah.
But even from May to now, like I lost even more weight.
Oh yeah.
That my wife sent me a picture and she's like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah. Old Antonio.
Yeah.
The new Antonio is here.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. So that's another way that I've challenged myself. And now even this year, I actually sat down and wrote the things that I want out of life.
Yeah.
And I think it's one thing, and I encourage people to do it, is to sit down and figure out what you actually want.
Yeah.
Without the input and the input of other people, or letting other people dictate what you want.
Yeah.
But it's super important, kind of like divide that in different categories, like physically, what do you want for yourself? Spiritually, what do you want for yourself? For your business, what do you want for yourself? Your family, friends, and fun, what do you want for yourself? And so I've taken that exercise and I've kind of figured out, and then just okay, so for example, I want to love my wife, make her feel special.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I added to my list is, how do I do that? So I'm going to write 4 letters to her this year. Something that when we were dating, that was super common.
Oh yeah.
Now almost 8 years into marriage, not so much.
Yeah, those things don't happen after a certain time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I decided that, at least 4 times this year, I'm gonna write her a letter. We're gonna go out on just me and her on a date once or twice a month. And then for my health, one was like to get jacked. All right, so
well, you're already jacked, bro. You're taking it to the next level.
Yeah. So that means going to the gym 3 to 4 times a month. A week, not a month. Yeah. And then I do want to do an amateur fight, so that's another thing that I want to.
This year?
This year, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Maybe towards the end of the year, but
okay.
I do want to do an amateur fight, so that's another thing that
let me know.
Keep me challenging.
Where are you trying to fight at? Does your guy have like connections with a local place? Or?
Yeah. He's actually he they'll send him like different event types.
Right.
My first initial fight I'd like to do with headgear, shin guards.
Definitely. Yeah. Don't injure yourself.
Yeah. But definitely that's one thing. I'm looking to challenge myself.
Yeah.
And the list goes on as far as like what I actually want. And I think we become guilty of just living life on autopilot. Just doing things because like we have to work because we had to pay bills.
Yeah.
Or I had to spend time with my family every once in a while because they're my family. Instead of really figuring out what we want and say, well, I want to spend time with my family because I love them and I want to show them that I love them.
Right.
And so what does that mean?
Right.
So really being specific about what I want and how I'm going to get there.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think that's something that we could all do better, because like you said, you get stagnant. You don't think, maybe you think about a goal you have, but you don't really build out like a road plan to get there.
Yeah.
Or you don't think about, you're not consistent about meeting that goal. You're like, well, it's on my list of goals to do.
Yeah.
And you keep adding to your list of goals, but you never take action to actually get after one of your goals or meet one of your goals, check it off.
Yeah.
But then the thing is too, people give themselves too many goals.
Yeah.
You got to keep it simple. And like realistic to something that you can actually achieve.
Yeah, and I would even add, they're not being specific. One goal I had in the last 3 years was I want to build a successful business. And that was just my goal. Like, but in reality, it's just a statement. It's not, it's not a goal or a dream. It's just a dream. It's not a goal. A goal would be, I want to build my business by the end of this year to 7 figures. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I wasn't, for the last 3 years, I just wasn't specific enough.
Right.
Like once again, when I'll mention, my goal in marriage has always been, I want to love my wife, blah, blah, blah. But to be even more specific, once again, writing her 4 letters this year, you know, that is a goal.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, oh, I want to love my wife this year.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's just an idea, you know, and I think people aren't specific enough. And that's something I've had to learn.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%. 100%. What are you finding is working for you best with your workout schedule now? I know you said 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
So,
what's working best for you?
Mornings, because it's, for me, it's just been the time where everybody's asleep. Nobody needs me at that time.
Yeah.
You know, so that's been one of the biggest reasons I've decided to go in the morning. And I've been doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Saturday. I trained every Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, that's your striking training?
Yeah, for my striking training. You know, and it's just on my schedule. It's what I do. You know?
What time you do the striking
at? 6
a.m.?
Yeah, no, 6 p.m.
Oh, 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're lifting weights in the morning for the gym. Striking's in the evening on those days.
On Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially working out 5 days still.
Right. Definitely.
Just not lifting weights.
You feel like your recovery's good from all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. With your diet, obviously, your eating habits.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you finding is best for your eating? Are you doing like 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, 6 meals a day?
I'm still doing 3 meals a day.
3 meals a day?
I will say, like,
6 meals a day.
Some people do that.
Yeah.
Some people do 6 meals a day. I'm just asking them.
Yeah. No, I would say 3 meals a day. Taking protein shakes, creatine.
Yeah.
Trying to eat enough meat, vegetables.
Yeah.
This month or Monday, I started no coffee for 10 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then today I'm actually fasting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So no food?
No food.
Just water?
Just water.
Dang. Guess
Well,
you
water
gotta save your
and
Jocko
protein
for
shake.
later.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna save it for later.
Yeah.
But mainly just because, you know, there seems to be a lot of benefits to fasting. Now I've only done it twice in the last year.
Yeah.
This would be my second time.
Just one day at a time, or are you doing like multiple day fasts?
Just one day for now.
Just one day.
Yeah. I think maybe I'll lead up to like a 2 or 3 day, but I don't think I'm there. Which Monday I kind of did. I had chicken, vegetables, fruit. No fried food, no sweets. And then kind of got rid of chicken, kind of leading up to Friday.
Okay.
Got rid of fruits and just did vegetables.
So slowly cut it off.
Yeah. Did vegetables only yesterday, and then today, you know, just water and protein shake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's next level, dude.
Yeah.
That's how you get to the next level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For sure.
Well, going back to business a little bit, obviously it all ties in together. Your health, your fitness, your mentality, your goals, making sure you're meeting those, you know. Going back to your business, what are some of the things that are working for you right now, or what, you know, are some things you learned how to optimize your business strategies? Let's just take marketing, for example. What are you finding works best for you for marketing right now?
For marketing, networking has helped me a lot.
Are you in like a local networking group?
Yeah.
Like the B&I group?
Yeah, I'm in the B&I group, and then just like just being friendly at the gym. You know, I've been able to, obviously we work together, and been able to get 2 or 3 other projects.
Nice.
You know, always, you know, advertise. Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, obviously you got your truck decked out, so if you're driving around, they see your company everywhere.
Yeah.
But what other advertising things are working for? I'm just thinking of entrepreneurs watching this.
Yeah.
Maybe they get some ideas.
Yeah.
Things that you're finding useful.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I would definitely push networking a lot. You know, get into a local group or even a Facebook group to where you can continually, build your brand and
Right.
for people to get to know you.
Right.
Just because people do business with who they like and trust.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
networking, even if it's not something that you're normally used to, once again, it's a skill that you can develop. It's not, I don't think there's, or maybe there is, but I don't think there's people that are natural born networkers, For me, that's just networking has really, really helped out. Another thing is just creating your profile on Google. I mean, it's to be practical. Start getting Google reviews on there.
Yeah.
Start uploading pictures. Getting a website.
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Have you I don't know if you still use the same website guy that you were using before, but have you done any optimization on your website for SEO or search engine optimization?
No, I haven't.
No?
I haven't. I know it's more of a long-term game than it is for like immediate results.
Right.
So for starting out entrepreneurs, unless you have the capital to
go that route.
To go that route and be okay with spending a lot of money without seeing any immediate results, because you will see results. It just takes time.
That's your strategic plan.
Correct.
Right,
yeah.
but your tactical short-term plan has got to be something else.
Correct. Yeah,
right.
yeah. Especially when you're first starting off and you need leads ASAP.
Right.
Or you're not going to eat.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. What about social media? Have you used Facebook, Instagram,
I
advertising
have,
at all?
just not consistently.
Yeah.
Definitely something I want to work on more this year.
Yeah.
Just putting a face to my company, and my brother's going to help me out with some more videos.
Okay.
And so looking forward to doing that, but definitely want to do more social media.
That's on your radar
stuff.
to increase that.
Oh, yeah.
What about, I know me and you have talked in the past, but the listener hasn't heard. You use like a mail out strategy at one point.
Yeah.
You still using that?
Yeah.
And can you tell the listener about what that?
Yeah. So my initial response to mailers were like, dude, and people are just going to grab it and throw it away.
Right.
Because that's what I did, But I think there's definitely a market for it, especially with the older, if your clientele is,
not
50,
as tech savvy.
Yeah. 50 above, or just not on social media as much. Mailers definitely can be one way to reach them. So it's definitely led to a good amount of business. So figuring out different ways, and a lot of this is just figuring it out.
Trial and error.
Yeah. Figuring what works. Because what works for you may not work for me.
Right.
As far as marketing. So a lot of it is, being able to spend some money on mailers or social media or SEO, or figure out what is really, and then tracking all that stuff.
Tracking it's hard.
That's a big. That's one thing that I really until this year that I'm really focusing on it.
Right.
Because that's the only way you'll be able to make good business decision with accurate information. Because if it a lot of the times it was just off the top of my head, I think the mailers did good. Because maybe. And it was basically, I was basing it off of a feeling maybe. And maybe I felt that way because I'd just gotten one call from a mailer. But like if I had really tracked my numbers, I would have known, okay, like this is exactly how much money or the ROI that you're getting on your mailers. This is the ROI on social media, your ROI on SEO. Right. So.
Do you use does your mailer have like a service where they're tracking things for you?
No, so not the first mailers that I sent out. But I always ask people, hey, how'd you hear about us?
Yeah. That's how you're doing that.
Yeah, and so that's something.
Yeah. One thing that we've started kind of in the past year is sponsoring local athletics, high schoolers, college, clubs. And for me, I like that for two reasons. Number one, for the ability to support that team, because a lot of these teams, like we'll support jiu-jitsu teams, we'll support wrestling teams, football teams, whatever, And I just like supporting the local community.
Yeah.
You know, because the local community has supported us.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've been blessed with the support we've received. And so we want to give back to the community. But also that's a good way to reach specific groups of people, you know, that are at these events and build up that network, kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you've played around with that at all. That's something we've started doing. Definitely, I like doing that mainly because I like supporting people, you know. But definitely, it's a trial and error thing. You know, for us right now, what works best is Google, maintaining our Google page, you know, keeping it updated, getting more Google reviews, and then social media works really good for us, you know.
Yeah.
And we've tried mailers in the past, but we get a lot of messages, take me off your mailing list. I don't know if you get those, but people will email us, take us off your mailing list now.
Yeah. Now, did you do individual mailers?
we basically would get like a mailing list. You can get them from the post office, you know, for a zip code, and then you get postcards and you send them out. That's what we did in the past. I know you've used like a mailing service, right? Where it's
where like initially it was like a package,
right,
with a good amount of different services. This time I'm going a different route, like doing individual. And like focusing on like new home buyers, and because that's typically when they want to paint.
Change when the color. First get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So seeing how that works. And I haven't done it this way. So we'll see.
A little trial and error. Figure it out. I remember when I first started a business, I was thinking the same thing as you. I got to get customers. So there'd be people calling me, hey, we want to sponsor you on our golf course. We want to sponsor you in our magazine. I'm like, sign me up. None of it works, you know? So I was like, I'm burning so much money just trying to advertise.
Because you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. Like, and I think a lot of that can be good. But it's more for, I would consider branding.
Right.
You know, than it is for like immediate leads.
Right.
You know, because I mean, I signed up for a magazine, and I really haven't seen any results. Unfortunately, it was a contract, so it ends. It ends soon, but most likely not gonna. Do it.
I mean, I'm the same way as you. If I get a magazine in the mail, I throw it in the trash. I don't even open it. So that's what I think most people are doing with the mailers. At least that's my thought. But I like how you brought up, you know, people that might not be on the internet or might not be as tech savvy.
Right.
If you can target those with like a mail out, that's probably a better way to reach them.
Right.
You know,
right.
That's a really good thought right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we've kind of talked about health and fitness, you know, mental clarity, you know, things to keep you at peak performance, operating at peak performance. You know, you've talked about some of your goals for this year, you know, performance-wise, but also the puzzle piece of, hey, you're running a business, you're figuring all these things out, you're figuring out your marketing, you're figuring out your daily operations, you're figuring out how to take yourself to the next level and meet that goal. And those two things link together. At least that's our belief. You know, your health, physical health, mental health, and, you know, the health of your business. You know what I'm saying? But I know you're growing a little bit. You're adding some guys to your team or some team members to your team. Do you have any advice for people that are growing their team? What are some things you're working on as far as growing your team, being more of a leader, you know, when it comes to running like a unit together?
Yeah, so I would say I just start developing that and finding resources that are going to help you, you know, especially if you're not, people consider a natural born leader, you know, and that's why I wouldn't consider myself, you know, I didn't consider myself a natural born leader. Like I just, you know, I always was like in high school as a class clown, you know what I mean? So I wasn't necessarily a follower, but I wasn't a leader. I was just kind of like,
you're hanging out.
Yeah, just there. But now I realize, like, you know, people want to, you know, people want to follow or join a team where they're going somewhere, you know. And if they're not, they're gonna probably find a different place.
Right.
You know, people want to follow somebody who has a vision.
Yeah.
You know, who has a clear understanding of what they want. You know, and I think those are good things to have and figure out. You know, once again, what is your team culture? What is your mission statement? What's your vision? You know, how can we, you know, what, and if you don't know that, then how do you expect other people to follow that? You know, so that's been a big thing for me, is just, you know, finding resources that help me develop my team, and continuing to motivate them and encouraging. And right now, my wife helps me. I have a project manager, and then we have the painters underneath that. But eventually, I want to have 2 sales reps, 2 project managers, full-time office manager. So just continuing to grow and make sure that I become that leader. That even though you may not think that, hey, you're a leader, but just, once again, it's a skill that you can develop.
Yeah.
So I've definitely am still learning.
Yeah.
To do, you know, to become that leader.
Well, learning never stops, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether your specialty is paint, you always learn more stuff, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
About different paint on different textures or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Same thing. If you're a leader, you're always learning.
Oh yeah.
You know, about the way you operate. You know, maybe you figure out the way I interacted with this person wasn't ideal.
Right.
So I need to change the way I interact with people or handle different situations.
Yeah.
But also, if you're a part of a family, you're a leader too. You know, you got to lead your family. Whether you're either spouse is leading. You know, at different situations and different times, and becoming that unit. You know, so definitely a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
But going back to your health, I mean, if you're in poor health, you're going to handle situations not ideal. Right. If you're in better health, you're going to handle situations in a better capacity. You know.
Yeah. So. And it's not to say that, you know, you can't be, and the success can be defined in different, you know, differently. But like, if we're talking about monetarily, you know, it's not to say that you can't be successful financially, and you know, and just not prioritize your health, because it can happen. But like, once again, if you really want to perform at a level where you're just generally happy with yourself, you know, you're not as stressed out, you're just, you know, then you have to prioritize health. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have any top advice for young entrepreneurs, someone looking to get into business or maybe thinking about starting a business?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is to find a resource and really get to know, you know, find a good resource, because there's a lot of scams out there, a lot of fake gurus or whatever, you know. But find a legitimate resource and apply it, and get you know, roll up your sleeves and really get to work. I think one of the mistakes that I made was I found a good resource and I should have followed it, but I would get enamored with another new thing that came out, you know, or another person, and maybe they're just as good as a resource, but I was just getting too much information. You know, and it's easy to do that, you know, to get a bunch of information, and, you know, you'll start doing it for a little while, and then something new comes along that is going to revolutionize your business, you know, so then you start doing that, and you forget about your original plan. And so I would just encourage people to, you know, find a resource and really master that, you know, that resource, and practice it. And once you got it down, then move on.
Right.
Move on to the next resources. Like for me, I bought this painting and business course. And not until recently that I really started. I know I kind of half-assed it for, kind of picked
right.
a little bit here and there.
Right.
But now I decided, you know what, I'm just going to. And during that time, I also started getting a bunch of other resources. And finally I had to say, you know what, let's stop all this.
Yeah.
Cancel it.
Yeah.
And stick to my first one.
Yeah.
And really just work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my number one recommendation is pick something, stick with it.
That's the pro and con of today's world with all the social media, the YouTube, the internet. You get smashed with information.
Oh yeah.
So pick one path, stay on that for a little bit, see if it helps you.
Yeah.
If not, maybe alter your path.
Yeah.
But you got to give that original path enough time.
Yeah.
To actually work for you or not.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to make sure you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the truth is there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
Everybody, anything that's ever been done has been done by someone else already.
Right.
So, don't get enamored with, a certain program or something, to the point where it distracts you from your original plan.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Ben, you got any questions for Antonio?
No questions. Just want to back Antonio because he painted my house.
Oh yeah.
Way back in the day. I was that new homeowner, except
Yeah.
I reached out to you because Chad recommended you.
Oh,
and they crushed it.
If you ask me about painting, or even if you don't ask me, you're gonna hear about Antonio.
Yeah. And then I was, I think at the time that you guys were doing his fence, I was trying to look into getting a fence for my house, but my HOA is like you have to have a vinyl fence and all that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I could put it up myself, but I was like trying to watch YouTube videos and stuff. But he was like, just talk to Antonio's guy, he'll put it up for you, or
Yeah.
And I never moved forward with it because of the cost of buying the material to build it. But so that was just Chad said, call Antonio's guy. But they you guys did my house, and it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Paint looks good. We did like an off-white, like a eggshell off-white or something, and then we did a secondary color on like all the trim and stuff, and it looks good.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah.
But so.
And I don't think I think if. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember what paint was it? Scuffex by chance?
Scuffex, yeah. It was,
stuff.
The
Oh, really?
If it
scuffs,
scuffing? If it does scuff, you can like wipe it off. Right?
Oh, really?
Isn't that what it is?
Oh, shoot.
Because of my dogs. Because of my
on
dogs. Yeah, on the walls.
Interior.
Oh, yeah.
I got their spots, against the wall, and sometimes, they'll get a little rowdy or whatever, and the spots will rub up against the walls and stuff and scuff them. Or if you hit anything on it, So.
Well, I'm thinking about like if I have kids, you have kids, but the kids they bang up the house. They got toys. There's whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like those walls get banged up.
Yeah.
And the Scuffex, you just wipe it off. Is that what
Yeah.
happens? Really?
Yeah. It's a little bit more resistant for sure. Than
what if kids color on the walls?
If that's wipe off? It should be able to wipe it off.
That's legit.
You pay a little more. I think we paid a little more for the paint, but. In the long term of taking care of your walls and stuff, it made it easier.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's good.
Good to go.
Nothing better to say than call Antonio and get yourself hooked up.
Yeah, we'd love to help.
Yeah. Well, Antonio's made an amazing transformation, for his physical health, his mental health, his business, so I remember the first time we met, to where you are now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You do. Like health-wise, bro, you look completely different.
Oh, he's jacked
from when I had my house done.
Yeah.
Have you seen his shirtless pictures on Instagram?
I've been keeping up with the progress on it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's paying off.
Yeah. And it's definitely a challenge. But it's worth.
Yeah.
It's worth doing.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I mean, for me, my workouts is that mental clarity.
Yeah.
And if there's stuff stressing me out, there's nothing that gets me in the right mindset more than a workout.
Yeah. I would agree. For me, I've heard people say like, it's therapy or whatever. But to me, it's not so much that. To me, it's just a simple idea of it's me and the metal.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That's it. Like, I don't have to think about what's going on with business. I don't have to think about, not that I don't care about my family because I love them dearly, but I don't have to think about family. I'm not thinking about friends or fun. It's just me and
you got to be disciplined though, because those thoughts will try to creep in and distract you. You got to stay focused.
Oh yeah.
You know,
For
you
sure.
got to stay focused.
For
so.
sure.
Plus, you know, I don't know what time you're waking up these days, but waking up early to go to the gym. That's a challenge itself. Because you wake up, you're like, 5 more minutes. You know, hit that snooze button a couple times now. It's not worth it going to the gym because you know, it's too late in the morning or whatever.
Right.
So you got to make sure you get up and you just go.
Oh yeah.
Just start moving.
Are you still waking up at 4 or something?
3:40. I'm waking up 3:40. Pissed off every day. Wake up, I'm pissed off. I'm like, fuck, it's super early, but let's do it. You know. I'm only lifting 4 days a week right now. That just works best for me with my recovery. You know, and I swim 1 day a week, and then I train jiu-jitsu striking. You know, I do jiu-jitsu once a week, and then jiu-jitsu striking at least twice a month.
Okay.
So
we should spar.
We should. I definitely want to come to like your gym and check it out and hang out with you guys. You guys will probably crush me. You know,
I don't know. We don't do it. I know he just added introduction to MMA.
Okay.
Well, he was doing it mainly in the mornings, but he's gonna do it now in the afternoons.
Okay.
Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Okay.
I'm gonna start going on Monday mornings. Or Monday afternoon.
The only thing with me because our gym does mainly evening classes. They have 2 morning classes a week, which I altered my work schedule to be able to go to one of those. But mainly evening. For me, the evening is like my family time. You know, so that's where the challenge comes in, and making sure the kids have their dad and all that. But one Friday night a month, I go to the competition BJJ class, and my coach wants me to do a BJJ competition at some point. So I was like, hey, if there's one in Charleston or Columbia, I'll do that. Or like Myrtle Beach or Beaufort, like that area, or Savannah. I'll go there for a BJJ competition. But good to go, man. Definitely a good time. You got any closing thoughts for anybody out there?
Once again, I would just encourage people to, you know, keep at it. Like it definitely takes some time, consistency. I know it's super cliche and you hear it all the time, but if you just, you know, they say it's not, the ideas are simple, you know, but the process is difficult, you know, and as long as you don't mix the two, you know, I think that can kind of bridge the gap, you know, to the point where like, don't make it seem, the idea of working out, don't overcomplicate it. You know, just put it in your schedule. Go. Don't overcomplicate dieting. You know, it's, once again, it's super difficult to give up, especially if you've been eating a certain way for so long. You know,
stack of Oreos a day. That's hard.
It's just, you know, for example, for dieting, just start with, don't eat sweets, you know, don't eat processed foods.
Cut out alcohol.
Cut out alcohol. See where that takes you. You know, once again, don't overcomplicate it. You know, with business, you know, don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it. You know, just do it. You know, you'll learn along the way. So.
Well, obviously, Antonio is a wealth of knowledge in many facets of life, but specifically for his business, painting. You just brought up ScuffX, you know, that's something people don't even know about. I remember when you were doing our fencing, you were like talking to me like, hey, the wood treat and all this and this paint. Like there's so many different factors that go into a good paint job. It's worth it to hire a professional like Antonio versus try to YouTube it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, in dog training, what we do. It's better to have the expert coach you, help you, versus try to YouTube it yourself and mess something up. You know? So, you know, that's what Antonio does, painting. You guys what are other things you guys do? You know, you do some drywall repairs still?
We'll do drywall repairs, painting, fence staining.
Fence staining. You still putting up fences, or you kind of just
no,
pushing that to your other guy?
Yeah, definitely pushing it. Initially I was gonna do a bunch of stuff, remodeling, and then I had to,
simplify.
Simplify.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future you'll add that.
Yeah,
one,
for sure, for sure. But I had to stop and say, you know what? Let me focus on painting.
Right.
And it's paid off. I think had I started doing a bunch of other things,
gotten out of control.
Yeah, it definitely would have.
I remember when I first started business, which I'm sure you know this guy, Patrick Bet David, you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him? Yeah, I remember back in the day, I was watching his YouTube all the time. And one of the things he said is, like, people want to do a lot of different things, but you got to focus on one thing, get that really good. And only when that's really good do you start adding to that.
Yeah.
And that helped me focus too, because I was like, oh, I can do dog training, I can do this and this. And I was like, focus on dog training.
Yeah.
Stay on this path. And then you can slowly start increasing what you're doing from there. Same thing with what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And that advice has definitely helped me, But if you need, like, if you come over and they need a fence put up, you obviously have your referral for that.
Yeah. We have referrals for a good amount of things.
Right.
Always trying to find people who we can, rely, especially for my customer base. Like, I know I want to provide a certain level of quality and communication.
Right.
So I don't want to expect that from people who I refer to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Antonio, can you give us your contact info, where people can find you, your social media, where are you at on social media?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I believe, man, I don't remember my tag. I think it's Antonio Velasquez.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Facebook, same thing, Antonio Velasquez.
And then you have the business account.
Then I have
the
business account. It's at the Velasquez Company.
Okay.
For Instagram and Facebook, and then our website is thevelasquezcompany.com.
Okay.
Yeah. You
playing around with YouTube yet or not yet?
I actually uploaded one YouTube video.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember where I was showcasing that stain for the town of Somerville.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. So
that pavilion.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was real nice.
Yeah. So I uploaded that, but it's not necessarily in my expertise. My brother really loves doing stuff like that. He's still working a full-time job, but definitely been wanting him to.
So he's a video editor type guy?
He loves doing it, yeah.
Yeah. What's his?
He doesn't have any professional experience.
Okay.
With it,
he's just kind of learned on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
good to go.
So we'll see. If not, I'll have to figure something else out.
I didn't know you had a brother. I know you had a sister.
Yeah.
Right, Gabby. She used to come to the gym too.
Yeah.
And your brother, he's in the area too, obviously.
He's in the area too, yeah.
Just three of y'all, or you have more siblings?
Just three of us.
Just three of y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, good to go, man.
Yes,
well, Antonio, thank you for coming out today. Again, the Velasquez Company on Instagram, Facebook, thevelasquezcompany.com. That's how you can reach out to him to get some painting completed or other projects completed. You can hit up his personal socials, Antonio Velasquez, to keep tabs on what he's doing personally. Mm-hmm. Ben, where are you at?
I'm right here.
Where are you at on the socials?
Just YouTube, Canine Revolution, dogtraining.com. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't really use it that much because I'm so involved with the company stuff that I don't really care about my personal stuff as much anymore.
Well, you post your cat.
I post my cat. I'll post my dog. I'll post like one picture a month,
Also, Ben's into baking these days.
I don't bake as much. I used to bake.
He's got a baking book.
Last year.
Yeah.
Last year.
Cool.
Well, I did just make it was a vanilla brownie cheesecake.
Sheesh.
Actually, what you saying all the sweet stuff, that's your weakness. I might have to make you something, bro.
Yeah.
I'll make you a lemon
loaf.
loaf.
I'll definitely eat
You made it for Christmas. I definitely had
it. It was really heavy, though. It was like
heavy.
thick because of the brownie mix and all that, and trying to make a cheesecake out of it. It was all right.
It was good. I had a big piece. I put it in my macro tracker.
Yeah.
So it was in my macros for the day.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing to make is like this lemon loaf, and it's like a loaf of bread, lemon bread, but then you soak it in the lemon juice, but it's like a sweetened juice, so you add sugar to the lemon juice, and so you soak it in it. It's so good, bro. And it takes like 45 minutes to make, so it's super easy for me. But
let's not forget when Ben's baking, he's got his apron on.
I got my apron on, which is got a picture of my it's got my cat on the front of the apron. But I don't, I bake a little bit now. I tried to, or last year I baked a lot more. I kind of like just stop doing it as much, but I still do it like just to do it. Something on the side to do. Like
2023 was Ben's year for getting gaining weight. He was in a gain phase.
Nice.
Muscle.
Yeah.
Every year we do a end of year podcast with what we've learned health and fitness wise. So he was talking about his gain phase, what he learned, and then this year, what's your goal?
Still maintain my weight.
Maintain your weight.
I'm like I'll fluctuate between like 165 and like 170. I hit 170 a couple days ago, but I don't know. It was like the middle of the day. I just randomly weighed myself, and you're like, apparently your true weight is like in the morning time.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if it was an accurate reading, but I was like, I'll take it. First time seeing it,
Right.
So. But my weight fluctuates very quickly.
Well, you're maintaining. Are you increasing your cardio at all?
Well, my goal is to do 1 5K this year, so probably do one at the end of the year. We just sponsored 2 5Ks, but and then that.
Cup.
Okay.
Definitely
but then
sponsor that next year.
Yeah.
Definitely sponsor it.
Yeah, we had a lot of business.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people stopping by our booth for that at the 5K Cocoa Cup. But that walk for the fall, and like Chad was saying, that is not fun. It's a gauntlet, bro.
Well, it's fun until a certain
It's
point.
not fun. It's fun for the first couple miles.
Yeah.
But it's like over 25 miles.
It's not supposed to be
walk.
fun, though. It's supposed to be a suffering remembrance.
And I had to soak my feet after it because they were so swollen. Like my ankles were swollen, bro.
Yeah.
And like walking was actually painful. Like I tried, dude, it was so bad.
Well, when it was over, we were laying in the grass like just for like an hour.
I thought I was gonna have to tap out at the end because you go over the bridge and then you go to Patriots Point. And so like going over the bridge was like the hardest thing because at that point my feet were so swollen that I was like, I might have to tap out. I don't know if I can make it. And I just like stared at the ground and just walked and didn't think.
Yeah.
And we did take like one last break or something before we went to Patriots Point, and I was like, right there, I was like, I don't know if I can do
you were
it.
saying, I don't know. I was like, it's 1 more mile. Let's just finish.
Yeah.
It was like 0.5 miles or a
it
mile.
wasn't even a full mile.
And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like starting to psych myself out,
It's that
and
mental toughness to
just
a whole new
forced
level,
myself to
go.
Yeah.
I was definitely like one of the last people, like walking so slow.
Well, at the end, once you're going over the bridge, they break out all the flags: the American flag, Navy, Army, Marine, all the veteran flags. They have a remembrance flag for a couple people that they know specifically passed away, and you got to carry those over the bridge. And so at that point, you're already so tired. And there was like some people in front of me that started carrying the flag. They were about to drop it, so I had to like grab it and carry it. And I had done squats the day before.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the walk won't even be that bad. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then I did the squats, and that was horrible. But you should definitely do it with us this year.
When is it?
July 13th.
It's in July too, so it's like
middle
blazing hot.
Yeah.
It's blazing.
You got to
hot.
suffer.
Yeah.
You got to suffer.
Putting sunscreen on, like I just had a backpack full of like snacks and stuff, and Gatorades and body armors and stuff like that, and like the recovery process was very a full day, at least until a day and a half, because like the bottom of my feet were like it hurt to like put pressure on them.
Yeah.
So when I'm walking, like you don't want to walk.
I remember you were doing the Epsom salt bath.
Yeah, I had to. I
remember I got back. I drove back, parked my truck, opened my truck door. I got out. I fell. I fell, and then I literally crawled across the yard into my house and laid on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, because also your leg muscles are,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I had a big compression sore on my back because
from your backpack?
From my backpack.
Really?
All day it was rubbing against my back without me knowing it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't painful or anything, but it was just like this big red spot all down my back. My girlfriend was like freaking out about it, and I was like, it's not a big deal. And I couldn't do anything for the rest of the day. We got home at like 2 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got to take care of the dogs. I was like, I can't do anything today, you know.
You know it's bad too, and Ben's plan was to record the whole thing.
Yeah.
He stopped after an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I can't hold up my phone anymore.
I was like, I just need to focus on walking.
Yeah,
Right? I was
yeah.
like, I can't focus on other things because like the other thing about recording is like you got to be quick on your feet and stuff, able to move around. And there was a certain point where I was like, it's
There's
not
no
worth
way.
it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it
way.
because we got so much more to go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like halfway through the journey, you're walking down like a highway, and you're just like the sun's beating on you, and you're just like, like you got to go psycho mode.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go psycho.
Go to that dark place in your
You
head.
do. You got to just lock in and be like, yo, I'm finishing this. You know.
Yeah, if you're in the Charleston area, you definitely need to come to the Walk for the Fallen in July. Antonio, you definitely need to come.
Yeah.
Put it on your schedule. So
Yeah, for sure. You train. I mean, we all train for it this time.
I'm just walking
gonna
the
do
dog.
it?
I'm just doing. I'm dog training. I'm walking a lot. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk an hour every day with my dogs, 45 minutes to an hour, and I work out. So I was like, I should be good just to walk the whole thing,
Yeah.
without being affected because it's not running or anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was fine up until the end, but I would say like if I was gonna do it, I would probably walk like 3 miles a day or something.
Yeah.
Just
I'm just gonna do like a little bit longer walk. I was gonna walk from like Nexton Square to Cane Bay YMCA.
Okay.
That was gonna be like one of my training routes. I don't know how many miles it is, but it's not. You know, it's probably a couple miles.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But anyway, good to go. Again, the Velasquez Company, that's Antonio's company. If you guys need dog training, you can reach out to us, Canine Revolution Dog Training, also here in the Low Country. Obviously, you can hit up our socials. You can go to the link below to hit those. We'll also put a link to Antonio's company in the description below. We've also got Canine Revolution Apparel. So if you want some hoodies, if you want some beanies, if you want some mugs, if you want some rain jackets, go on to Amazon, type in Canine Revolution Apparel, or go to the link below in the description. You guys can check that out. Get you a good to go shirt, get you a good to go hoodie, so you'll know you'll be good to go. Antonio, I'll send you some, so you'll be good to go.
You can shop on Instagram now too.
You can shop on Instagram. You can shop on Facebook. The YouTube shop is coming. We're working on that.
Yeah.
Also, we're affiliated with JOCKOFUEL. We got Antonio hooked up with a Jocko Go energy drink today. Clean energy. None of that trash energy. You know, you go to the gas station, they got Monster, they got Bang, they got Red Bull.
Yeah.
High in sugar, high in caffeine, too much caffeine, not good for you.
Yeah.
JOCKOFUEL, Jocko Go energy drink, sourced in America, made in America, ingredients that are good for you. The only caffeine in here, 95 milligrams, that's as much as a cup of coffee. So you're not doing that crazy amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
Right? Ben, you had to say something.
No. I might have had a gas station energy drink on the way here.
Oh, God. Celsius?
No, Red Bull.
Oh, my gosh. Are you serious, dude? Are you serious?
I normally I haven't done a Celsius in a while.
Good. Because one time I got in Ben's car, I opened the door, Celsius cans were falling out of it. I was like, are you serious, dude?
I used to have an energy drink problem. It's definitely cut back a lot now.
Yeah. So did I, man.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I still drink them.
Every day almost.
Yeah.
Not as much anymore. I used to do a Celsius every day.
Yeah.
But now I do the Jocko pre-workout before I go work out, and that's 200 milligrams of caffeine. So it only leaves me with either one energy drink in the morning.
One Jocko energy drink.
Or I can have like a couple cups of coffee, which is what I do.
Yeah.
I drink like 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then I'll hit my afternoon workout, which is then the 200 milligrams. So then I'm good. So
You should not be having over 400 milligrams of caffeine a day,
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
That
yeah.
should be your absolute max,
yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if I drink caffeine, which I don't drink it every day, but I'll be somewhere between 100 to 300 milligrams if I drink caffeine, because I might do a cup of coffee, one of these that's 200 milligrams essentially, you know. But anyway, JOCKOFUEL, they also got milk protein powder. They got milk protein cookies. They got milk protein ready to drink shakes. So you get that shake, pop it, good to go, right? They got creatine, greens for those micronutrients, which is something when you change your eating, right? You went from fast food to chicken, veggies, fruits. Now you're getting your micronutrients in, right? But if someone has some gaps in their macronutrients, you can get some JOCKOFUEL greens. Now that helps you get some micronutrients in. But basically whatever you need, they got for you. Also, I don't know, have you done any blood testing yet?
I haven't,
No?
but it's on my radar.
Is it on your radar? So I did blood testing last year, my first year doing it with Merrick Health. You can do it with Merrick Health, all, telehealth. You don't have to, you obviously have to go to LabCorp to get your blood test done. But I figured out I had some problems, My ApoB, which is your cardiovascular risk, was high. My testosterone was low. So I had to do some optimization to work on those things specifically and a couple other things. But JOCKOFUEL has a testosterone optimizer, all natural. I took that helped me triple my testosterone in 6 months.
Yeah.
So in addition to getting better sleep, because with my first blood test, I was sleeping like maybe 5 hours a day. I had to change that to get at least 7 hours a day of sleep, at least. I don't know what you're getting, but 7 to 9 hours is optimal, right? And then reducing some of the fats in my diet, to also help my testosterone increase. So those things combined with the JOCKOFUEL testosterone optimizer helped me get into an optimal range with testosterone. So basically you need JOCKOFUEL. They got everything you need.
Yeah.
So go check it out. You can use the code Canine Revolution for 10% off. Our next affiliate is Canine Super Supplements, which is supplements for your dog, right? So if you want to optimize and help supplement yourself, you're going to go to JOCKOFUEL. But if you want to optimize and help your dog, you're going to go to Canine Super Supplements. They got the multivitamin. They got the joint supplement. They got the puppy formula. They got the weight gainer for your hard gainers. So you can go to caninesupersupplements.com, use the code Canine Revolution, get 15% off your order, support your dog, help fill the gaps in your dog's diet. We're also affiliated with We Feed Raw, which is raw dog food delivered to you. Make it simple for you to get your dog onto a raw diet or a partial raw diet, because you can mix it with your kibble. You can mix it with your Canine Super Supplements. But go to WeFeedRaw.com, use the code Canine Revolution for 25% off your meal plan. And then our final affiliate is Origin USA, where you get American-sourced, American-made goods. So hoodies, jiu-jitsu gear, martial arts gear. I don't know, if you've used them for some of your martial arts stuff, but all of their products sourced in America, made in America, for America. Jeans, they got the flex jeans, right? Comfortable, so you can optimize your movement while you're working, right? So originusa.com, use the code SINGER101 for 10% off there, and support yourself, support America. But one last thought of the day. Don't let anyone or anything hold you back from your potential. Right, Antonio?
Yes, sir.
Just like you starting your business, you're not going to let someone hold you back.
No.
You're not going to let anyone hold you back. But only you can take that action. You might have a thought, but only you can take action to achieve that thought, to achieve that goal. And you have to be consistent enough to do it. So work hard, fuel yourself properly, take care of yourself, and take care of others. Good to go?
Yes, sir.
This is Pack Talk Podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Out.